Alright, hello Miss Midadiri, this is my presentation and I'm trying to make sure that you can see it as I do it. To do the screenshots as you suggested would have been a lot of screenshots because the way the thinklink is done is each one of these pictures has embedded content in it. So we will start the show and then I will upload it in a Word document. So this presentation I will. This is my content matter presentation for ESOL. And as you can see, each one of these has some kind of content embedded in it. So it is loading. Some of this was just because I tried to create it for something that I would just keep for myself. So this is what is a teacher, and it brings you to a Storybot link. And it tells you what a teacher is. And that's my introduction. Go back to our think link, and then our next page. Hello, this is Mrs. Yeomans, and this is my presentation on materials, resources, and technology in the content area of English language arts, addressing challenges, accessing that kind of information, addressing challenges in specialized language in that content. I will be describing some techniques, and I will be introducing some tools, technology tools that I will use in the classroom. Challenges we face teaching ELA, the teachings of academic language component, vocabulary, grammar, syntax, style, etc. is complex and requires a deep understanding of the language demands of the content. For example, challenging language demands in ELA include visual displays, such as compare and contrast Venn diagrams, technical vocabulary, and grammatical features such as noun phrases. And you can see each one has an emergent reader in it. One question we need to ask when students are underperforming is, are they failing to master the specific content in the subject area, or are they failing language comprehension? Another way to look at this in ELA, I might ask a question such as, are my students failing to demonstrate the ability to create sentences, or are they unable to create first then last sentence frames because they don't comprehend what's being asked of them? The issues are prevalent throughout the curriculum. For example, before taking earth science, a few students may already know some of the technical words used in that subject. The limited language proficiency students often will not know these technical words, and they may not know much about academic language used to teach earth science concepts. They may not be familiar with words like evaluate, theory, hypothesis, assumption, cycle, and etc. This is just another way to show how you can use technology. This song counts to 10 in Spanish. Vamos a contar del 1 al 10 y cuando... And you can find all kinds of content on the internet that will help your English language learners. This is strategy. So on this slide of my Think Link, you are going to see some slides that I have done for a couple different classes. One was an instructional strategies portfolio that I put together for my teacher toolbox for ESE. And one is a reading strategies presentation that I had to put together for reading in block 1, and I felt like there was a lot of useful information, so I cut and pasted the slides into this Think link so that you can interact with those as well through the Think link. Vocabulary and concept development strategies. vocabulary concept development strategies using concept circles. Reading and writing strategies, consonant-based strategies. And this is using picture cards for L's. And this is reading comprehension strategies. Each one is embedded in there into this thinklink slide. Next, thinklink poses a question. What can we do about it? So what we can do in our classrooms to better address these challenges, first, analyze the text, tasks, and tests associated with the lesson in order to identify the language demands that are either overtly expected or tactically implied. Focus on the receptive language skills, listening and reading, and or productive language skills, speaking and writing, needed by the student to complete the lesson successfully. We know that a lot of receptive language skills are predominant in students prior to expressive or productive language. So we did that one. That answers our question. We can add the goal of developing your students' academic language in your lesson plans. Each lesson plan should have a specific goal for both the language and the content components. Don't make too many assumptions with respect to your students' mastery of the academic language you're using in teaching the content. Work from your analysis of what is required and develop specific lesson components address those requirements. Considering high-frequency vocabulary, which is primarily comprised of social language, this would include terms used in everyday situations, such as when students are speaking to their friends in the lunchroom or the playground. Consider general vocabulary for content area comprised mostly of academic language. This goes back to the last slide. This would include using terms doing schoolwork, but not directly to the specific content area, cause and effect, therefore, or as a result. Lastly, consider technical vocabulary. This would include terms associated with specific content topics. Vocabulary has always and is still a vital part of academic development. Our students at home with English as a second language really struggle with vocabulary development. They have a very difficult time with figurative language and deductive reasoning in comprehensive passages. I like this kind of visual. This is one that actually can be built to be interactive. So in certain softwares, I can take this and the students can come up and touch it, and I can embed their language in it. But it is a great visual for prepositions and understanding context of what we're talking about. This also works with their manipulatives with the word on, between, in, and then you turn it over and it says, put the frog, on the bridge. It's probably a car, but I like links like this because with the right software, this can be embedded for students to touch, and it's adaptable to their language. You can phase off their L1 language and move more into their L2 as their comprehensive and fluency is growing. So I like slides like this. I would include a bunch of them, but you get the idea of why I use this kind of resource in my classroom. All right, this is what the resource looks like. So under, between, out, inside, above, behind, on, in front of. Like I said, in certain technologies, you can take a picture like this and it can say it in the student's language. It can be written, it can say it. So slides like this that you can build upon and embed more content in are something I really like. I like including. All right, this is the technology part. So, hello, this is my technology slide where I will be introducing and showcasing video tutorials on how to use each one of these tools in the classroom. Follow from this icon all the way over and then go to the front row and end with the teacher. Click on each tab and you will be taken to a video, and there will be voice content as well. Thank you. All right, so each one of these is going to feature a technology that can be used in the classroom. This is Epic's, and then what happens is it'll take you to a YouTube video that tells you how I would use Epic in my classroom.
Hi,
and
this video is to show you how you can assign
fifth grade
books to children in Epic. So you're going to want to search for things for your class because you can assign them to recommend them.
Epic is really good because it allows you to gauge how much reading your student has done when you assign the books. I use Epic presently in my centers. Next is Duolingo. And this takes you to a link in how to use Duolingo in your classroom and to utilize it. Boom cards.
Okay, today I'm going to show you what boom cards are, or sometimes referred to as boom card decks, and how this can be helpful in your Google Classroom. So what these are interactive slides, and they have a variety of different...
And there are two types of boom cards, because you can also use boom cards in an actual classroom. They do not have to be used. They do not have to be, is that boom cards? Yeah, they do not have to be used in just a virtual or Google Classroom. Padlet.
Padlet is a free online virtual bulletin board that allows students to collaborate, reflect, share links, pictures, and information, and more. Here are 10 classroom uses for Padlet. Number 1. Padlet is a great tool for brainstorming and sharing ideas. Students in a class or group can contribute their ideas to one central online location. The brainstorming Padlet can then be saved and revisited later.
So Padlet is a very good tool to use in the classroom. Kahoots, another favorite. This is a really long video, but it's very in-depth, and I learned a lot about actually what you can do with Kahoots.
This is Corey Knight, the guy who's excited about the morel mushroom hunting season with Classroom Tech Made Simple. And in this tutorial, I'm excited to share with you an awesome way to get your students pumped up about learning. It's called Kahoot.
And he goes on to do quite a bit with that. There's a lot of content in that one. I really enjoy all the technology that you're going to find on this page here. Padlet, Kahoot, Epic, Duolingo, and boom cards. My favorite is thinklink. I have said that before. I just love the creativity, as you can see in this presentation that I've done. I love the way I can embed resources. I love the way that I can play around with different languages. It's very interactive. It is also the kind of lesson that you could put together and do your direct instruction, whole group instruction with. But you can also take parts of it and assign it as homework, or let the students be able to review the link for, upcoming tests. You can include assessments. It's just a really neat tool. There is a free version, but I did pay for the full version. I think it was like $30, but it was worth it. I've been able to do several lessons already and presentations using thinklink. So it is my absolute favorite, and I really enjoy Epic Books as well. With Epic Books, you can find books. Okay, and then so this will go on to tell you.
Share them with your students and make learning more interesting. This is another flipped classroom tutorial. The tool we're looking at today is called thinklink, and thinklink will allow you to annotate and add links onto images, video, and even 360 video. Find the URL.
Okay, so let's go back to our thinklink. This is a visual on how we feel, whether we feel happy or sad. This is a great classroom management tool to use in the morning and maybe after lunch. depending on how your day breaks up, but it's a way to create a culturally responsible classroom because everybody will identify the same way. They will come up and they will take their name and they will put how they're feeling. So students who struggle with English as their second language, ESE students, EVD students, this is just a great way for them to come up and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling this morning, or this is how I'm feeling after lunch. And it's a place to go from there. If they're feeling angry, maybe we can figure out why, and then just help them build on those speaking skills from this visual. And as you can see, then the names are listed here. And the students can come up and they can let us know how they're feeling a couple times a day, or if they're in a state of, not really being able to express themselves because of the language barrier, they might be able to come up and utilize a chart like this. I use something like this in my ASD classroom right now. Okay, this is about anchor charts. This slide is going to have two presentations or two things I'm going to talk about. Anchor charts, good old-fashioned anchor charts like the one you see here, where you can do with your class, or if you're creative, you can make by yourselves. There's teacher, pay teacher. But anchor charts are a excellent visual representation. They are big. They're located around the classroom. They can be used for classroom management. They can be used for, as you see, this is actually in my cooperating teachers classroom, who, what, where, when, examples and non-examples. And then there are digital ones that are interactive. This video is going to show you an interactive non-digital anchor chart, which I like. It's very tactile for the students. And then there will be a second video that I'll include under the icon number 2 that you will see a digital, pure on digital anchor charts. And with the world going the way it is, the pandemic, that is a very useful tool. So these are both great tools and videos to have in your toolbox. This is the anchor charts that you create in your class.
Ahoy there, teachers. We are talking about active.
And then, so this is the one about the one actually in my CT's class. And this one would go on to be about Google Slides and Google Classrooms and anchor charts that are used in the virtual classrooms.
It's going to be on virtual anchor charts. Before we get started, though, I wanted to say thank you for all of you who have subscribed.
Okay. All right. The next slide. It's a text modification reading. This is a video I did.
Hey, Larry.
Text modification reading of Pete the cat, and I love my white shoes. This is for an ASD community, but I did use visuals, and I used the visuals to create a walking storyboard on a manila folder so I could help the students with guided questions, as well as scaffolding their answer process, whether it was going to be choice of 3, choice of 2, or errorless. So it's just a neat little video that I did just to observe myself and to practice that skill of text modification and scaffolding the instruction while reading. This is 11 minutes long. This can be sent to you, Miss Midadiri, if you want the link just to watch this. This was actually the lesson plan I did for you, text modification, but I actually did it as a one of my closed readings, I think. I can't really remember. Oh, yes. Actually, this was for your class, so. Good job, class. I'm going to read the book Pete the Cat. I love my red shoes. Okay. So that's, then we have another link. Teachers. T is for technology. E, education. A, adaptable. C, creative. H, helpful. E, energetic. R, respectful. And S, servant. This is the end of my thinklink that is embedded with the challenges of teaching ELA to L students and how I would address them. Included in this content. And that is the end of my content matter presentations that I had submitted a while back. To do the screenshots as you suggested, I would have had to done one for every time I hit something and gone through it. So I thought maybe this might be a way for you to see that I have done the work. The content is there and I've met all the requirements in the rubrics of the assignment. I will upload this and hopefully you'll be able to view it. And if you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you so much, and hopefully this will be a great way that we can make this work.